Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Hi, Tanya's and Sunny and Crystals. Hello, hello. How is everybody today? Hi, Southern Charm. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. I'm Tracy. Noel, my husband, is here as always. Wander through life with me. I like it. East Coast Eclectic. Good morning, everybody. Millicent. All right, so what's going on? I have pages of notes today. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. But good morning, Mary. Daisy Lane. Hello, hello. I would rather talk about what you guys want to talk about. So if there's questions, thoughts, things you guys just want to talk about, something that's been on your mind, throw that in the chat. While we give people a chance to join us today, I'll kind of fill you in on some of the upcoming stuff. So we have got quite a few raid trains coming up. I'm super excited about. Most excited for today, we have Dollar Holla. I am going to be on there at 6. This train runs all day. My hope is that at the end of this show, we raid into the beginning of that train. If you are in the Dollar Holler, if you're here, put something in the chat. Let us know what time you are on for Dollar Holler today. I have no chance of winning. Let's just face it. I'm not going to win this competition, but I'm going to try. I've got about 60 items laid out on a table upstairs, and I have a whole different strategy this time. So last time I did it, I pre-listed everything and I got pre-bids, but that run next feature on Whatnot just totally messed me up. Crystals, reach out to Shelby Belby Thrifts or the Sassy Vintage Chick. Those are two of the vintage syndicates that run it. You have it always bounce back and forth. Yeah, me too. Sunny, I'm with you. So this time though, my strategy is just totally random polls. I have one listing, so that run next button will not mess me up this time. Totally random polls, but there is a video. If you go to my show, you'll see I put a little video on there of the items that are going to be there. Good morning, Strega. I'm doing a train for new sellers. Send me a message. Wandering through life with me, I actually do a train for new sellers too, so that's awesome. I love trains for new sellers. I think as a new seller, it's really hard to get on a train. So trying to like help new sellers out by creating those opportunities is amazing. Then Sunday, Battle of the PWE, brand new train. So for those, if you're not familiar, PWE is plain white envelope. So Battle of the PWE, you have one item, starts at $1, has to fit into an envelope. And I did everything I'm selling that day is a PWE item. What is a raid train? Well, that is a good question. So Taylor Ray. So a raid train is when a group of sellers get together and you have one person called the conductor that kind of organizes it. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 join forces to conduct it and do like not co-hosting, but like co-conducting. And it's usually centered around some type of a theme. And it's scheduled, it could be for a few hours or it could be for a full day. And so like for Dollar Holler today, it starts at 8:50 this morning. We kick it off with Shelby Belby. And then at 9 a.m., she raids into the next person. At 9:10, they raid into the next person, and so forth and so forth. So it's like a pre-planned out day centered around a theme, and you know who you're going to raid. Tanya's Timeless Treasures, send me a message. Message me, and I'll get you an invite. So not everything starts at $1. So it depends on the train. So today, Dollar Holler, yes, everything, at least everything in Dollar Holler, yes, will start at $1. Other trains can start at various amounts. Love to hear your thoughts about free shipping. What factors you looked at before doing it? We will talk about free shipping. I love free shipping. All right. We're going to I just wrote it down. So that's going to be like our first discussion point as soon as we get off of what we're doing here. So Dollar Holler today is going to be fun, but then Sunday is plain white envelope. We have sellers. I'm not conducting it. I just happen to be on it. Battle of the Plain White Envelope is run by CG Boomerang Echo and Custom Wood Burning, both two great sellers. And that train has sellers from across. You have across categories. You have some handmade people, some snack people, some vintage people, stickers. So that's another really good one going on Sunday. Then I'm not going to go through the whole list, but another show coming up in a week that I want to talk about So today we're doing sellers, buyers, life, whatever we want to talk about today. During tax time, I do tax shows, tax and accounting. So my chat shows kind of take a little bit of a spin more towards the tax and accounting. And Mila, are you okay with free shipping from your bin? Like right now, or only one? Oh no, free shipping always. So if you shop in my bin, did I load it? I might have loaded my bin today. Yeah, anything, I always do free shipping. I totally, tax. So during tax season, my show switched to kind of a tax accounting focus. We still talk about other stuff, but I am a CPA for those of you who are new. I'll get you 1 second wandering through life. So I was talking about my tax shows last week when I got to be on Green 13 show, and there seemed to be interest in people wanting to have one more, a little bit sooner than tax time. So next Friday's chat show, I'm going to have kind of some topics that are tax focused. So we'll just talk about accounting, taxes. So if you have any questions about how to keep up with your bookkeeping, I mean, not necessarily how to do taxes, but we do talk about it. So I'm going to try to bring that topic into next week just so we can touch on it mid-year. Battle of the Plain White Envelope is on Sunday. So this Sunday, all day long, Battle of the Plain White Envelope. I will be on at 7 Eastern time. Yes, it's the one on the 13th. All right, free shipping. So we had a question about free shipping. I have been doing free shipping, and I love it. Honestly, you guys, I love it. So I started free shipping. I have done 8 shows now of free shipping, and 1 show. So let's talk about before I even went to free shipping. When I first started as a seller, I did buyer pays all shipping. And then I did a few shows where it was reduced shipping. And for a good portion, probably over a year, I kind of stuck to reduced shipping, where I would pay up to $9.21. Crystals, yes, they are. Exactly. A lot of people just don't know what they don't know. You don't go into reselling because you love taxes, right? You go into reselling because you love to sell whatever it is you're selling. So, but I do love taxes, actually. That's what I do in real life. I don't do taxes in real life. I do have a master's degree in taxation, and I am a CPA. I am an auditor in real life, but I do know enough to confidently talk to you about accounting and taxes. So before I went into free shipping, I did reduce shipping. It was a slow progression because due to kind of the push, and not directly at me, but just the encouragement I heard on Green 13. He does a lot of free shipping, and just kind of hearing him talk about it. And then I Love Discounts was another big kind of seller that was starting out with free shipping, somebody that I respect their views and kind of got some thoughts and opinions from them. I decided to go with free shipping. And it has worked out wonderfully for me. Does it cost me money? Yes, absolutely. Right now, and I'm going to be completely transparent, I don't normally give out numbers. I actually have that as one of my talking points today about numbers, but I don't normally give out numbers, but this one I think is important for people to understand and just get an idea before you jump into it. I spend about 35% of my revenue. So if you take that little number at the top of your screen when you're selling, about 35% of that I spend on shipping on every show. Now, sometimes it's a little bit lower. There's been shows that it's been a little bit higher. That's a huge chunk. That's $3 out of every 10, 30 out of every 100. So if you're thinking about 30%, 35% of your gross revenue goes towards shipping, that's like 30. And then you have your cost of goods, maybe another 20 or so. There it is. CG Boomerang. She just popped in here. I just saw her. We were just talking about you. We were talking about the Battle of the Plain White Envelope coming up on Sunday. So y'all, there you go. I had told you that's the one to go and take a look at right there. CG Boomerang Echo is a conductor of that train along with Custom Wood Burning. Another show too, real quick, CG Boomerang Echo is doing is Battle of the Best. So I am on that one on 7/27. I have a really cool ephemera item I'm bringing, so I'm super excited about that. That one is always fun. I've done glass the last 2, so this time I'm really excited to bring something different than glass. But back to free shipping. So it costs. It's a good chunk of money. However, I don't think it's going to be 35% forever. My goal is to get it down to 25%, which I feel is a reasonable number. Good morning, A Reworker's Passion. I'm starting to see names of people who are on either Dollar Holla or Battle of the Plain White Envelope. Y'all, if you are, please throw your shows in there. These are the 2 trains coming up this weekend that I'm on. And I see names of people in here who are on those trains too. So go ahead and let people know if you're on those. Shipping, or should I buy a laser printer? BMW or BM Wilson, absolutely. I wouldn't say a laser printer. Thermal printer is what I would recommend 100%. As if you're a new seller or you're a seller who's been around for a while, a thermal printer is probably the absolute best investment you will ever make for your whatnot ventures. Saves time. It's cheaper on supplies, all the way around. That would be for me. If you ever buy one piece of equipment, focus on that one first. But going back to the whole free shipping thing, I hope that I'm answering your question. The goal for me is to get that shipping cost down to about 25%. Now, when you think about it, and I do not encourage free shipping for new sellers. Please, 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 if you are brand new, do not jump in and do free shipping. I search and I keep an eye on the vintage and antique decor category to see who's doing free shipping. There's not that many. There's like 2 other people. And one of those is a new person who has not yet even had a show. And my heart about broke when I saw that, because you don't know how much it's going to cost you until you have some historical basis to really do some analytics and know where you're going with it. But one of the things you think about, I will talk about reduced shipping too, because everything I'm talking about, well, there is a little bit different in reduced shipping as far as like the mentality and the mindset of the buyer. So I'll get to that in a second. But when you think about free shipping, one of the things you think, the first thing is, oh, I would have to raise my prices. I have heard that in the conversations I've had over the last month about free shipping. I've heard that phrase so many times. Oh, I'd have to raise my prices. To some degree, yes, possibly, depending on what your prices are existing right now. But I didn't raise all my prices. Have I raised some? Absolutely, I have raised some, but not drastically. My buyers have come to expect a certain price point from me, and I need to keep delivering that, because think about what's going on right now. Y'all know everything I do, I like to relate to real life, to like shopping in brick and mortar stores. Y'all know what's happening at Goodwill right now, right? They used to be pretty decent priced. I go into Goodwill right now and something that used to be $10, they're trying to sell me for $29.99. And I'm like, what the heck, right? They're losing buyers because they've doubled and tripled their prices. The same concept can be applied here. If I were to just double my prices to cover that shipping, I would lose all of my buyers. So yeah, has there been some incremental increases? 100%. Have I done less and less $5 and under starts? Absolutely. What the biggest thing I did though, during my selling shows, I quit doing giveaways. All of that money is now funneled into free shipping, and I quit discounting stuff. I used to pick something up and say, oh, I was going to run this for 15, but let's run it for 10. I was going to run this for 5, but let's run it for 3. I quit doing that. So instead of giving the discounts there, I'm giving free shipping. Buyers can funnel their money into buying the products that they actually want. So that's kind of all of my, hopefully that answered your question on my free shipping. I like free shipping better than dollar starts. I would do both if I could. If I could, I love dollar starts. I would do both. I'm not there yet. But I like free shipping because I find it more controllable. I know how much shipping is. Whatnot publishes shipping rates. I know exactly what shipping is going to cost me per 5-pound box, right? Or per flat rate box, or whatever you're shipping in. I can then adjust everything else around that to fit what I know I'm going to spend on shipping. So it's more of a controllable variable for me when I'm looking at, expenses across the board. Now, how does that fit into reduced shipping? You know what? If you can do reduced shipping, go for it. To me, right now, brand new seller, do buyer pays all. Then when you can, reduce shipping. Let's just stop. I always talk about breaking down the barriers, right? It is on YouTube. Actually, we multicast to YouTube, and they're always saved on YouTube. My husband will throw our channel up there for you. So you can any talk shows, you don't have to buy anything. You can always go to YouTube to rewatch anything that may be of interest to you. I was saying what I would recommend: do full shipping, buyer pays all, then go to reduced. Think about it from breaking down the barriers from a buyer's perspective. When you're scrolling through those thumbnails, you're on your phone and you're scrolling. Those little blue bars come across a thumbnail that says free shipping or reduced shipping, right? If you have 2 shows side by side, 2 sellers that you like, you respect, they have similar items, you know they're both great sellers. One has reduced shipping, one has buyer pays all. Naturally, as a buyer, what are you going to gravitate towards? Now, there's going to be times where it's just, you know what, this seller over here, I have to pay full shipping, but I really love this person and I love their items. There's always going to be some of that, right? But in general, as a buyer, and let's face it, I mean, I know we can all say, oh, but I got my best friend and I'll always buy from her. Yeah, you probably will. But if there's two people that have similar items that say you have no emotional connection to, you're going to go for the reduced or the free shipping one. It's human nature. It's buying. It's the way we buy. It's part of the psychology of buying. So if you could do reduced shipping, I encourage it, but only if you logically have looked at the numbers and can fit it into your budget, because it is an expense. Anything over whatever that reduced amount that you set, you will be paying for. Again, do a few shows, go back and look at your numbers. How much did you spend on shipping? And figure that out if that's something that a cost that you can absorb. And that's why I never recommend it for brand new people. You could do whatever you want when you're brand new, but you know, I just don't think, I think you need some basis to make that educated decision before you do it. Valerie says, yesterday 2 sellers were on the same time selling similar items. One was reduced and one wasn't. I stayed in and bought from the reduced show. There you go, right there. And it's just, it's gonna be the way it is. And as more sellers, this is normal. This is, just think about retail in general. There's trends, right? And not even just trends, but there's just shifts in business. As more and more sellers do reduced shipping, what's going to happen? The people who don't do reduced shipping are eventually, I'm not going to say be pushed out, but they'll become less and less, and their sales are going to be affected by it. It's like Blockbuster, right? I mean, it's the same thing. How many people have Blockbusters in their neighborhoods anymore? Do you tend to increase the item dollar to cover some of the shipping costs instead of doing low starts? So I was just talking about that, Maury. I increased some of my prices, but not all of them. And the prices that I did increase were very minimal, a couple of dollars here and there. I instead focused on not doing discounts and not doing giveaways during my selling shows. Speaking of giveaways, let's go ahead and do one of these. We're going to do an ephemera giveaway here. I do like to do giveaways during the talk shows. So we're going to do an ephemera pack. I have a bunch of just miscellaneous ephemera. So kind of put it together in a little pack. That is what is running as a giveaway right now. So reduced shipping doesn't have to be $9.21 neither. That's kind of the standard. That's kind of like the easy one. That's the default, which probably will be changing. You know, USPS is raising their rates. So I would expect just naturally those rates to go up. So Amy Perrin has a difference of opinion, and y'all, if you have a different opinion than me, that's okay, and I like to hear it. I don't pay attention to who has free or reduced shipping. If I want the item or like the seller, I will shop there. And I don't disagree. I think there's going to be some of that. There's always some of that. There are probably 5 sellers I can name right off the top of my head that I don't care what their shipping is. I'm going to buy from them because I want to support them. I like them as people. They may be personal friends, whatever. I'm going to buy from them. But the general psychology of buying, just in general, if you have 2 people you don't know, one offering discounted or free and one not, the general human nature is to go for the lower, is to save yourself money. Piece of quiche, I actually feel bad for people who start with $1 or $2 items and I win low. I think how you're making money, it's good for me, but bad for the seller. It could be. There's a whole psychology with dollar starts, and I am actually not against it. So those of you who may be somewhat new to me, I did 2 months of nothing but dollar starts because eventually I want to be a dollar start seller. So I did 2 months of shows of full dollar starts. Did I lose some money? Absolutely, I lost some money. But I had some really great shows too. First time I ever had sold out shows were dollar starts. I have nothing against them. There's a whole psychology about that low start that gets people to start bidding. And once you get one person bids, then another person bids. It's kind of like this FOMO. You create the kind of a FOMO type thing going on. I personally had to quit because I couldn't keep up with the inventory. I was selling so much, and not just at dollars. I couldn't keep up in general. I work full time. I have a whole other life, as many people do outside of whatnot, and I could not source enough to keep up with the supply and demand at dollar starts. So if selling a lot of heavier, the max is $9.21 shipping is a bit risky to lose. It is. And I do sell heavy items. I know right off the bat, I'm paying $9.21 a box most of the time. So if you look at my items, naturally you'd think, okay, so don't start anything under $10. Okay, so that's really where I raised my prices. When I had a $7 item or an $8 item, they're now $10 items. So at least I break even, right? Not counting my cost of goods sold. But not all of them. So a Reworker's Passion, I've been testing out reduced shipping. I have gradually lowered it over 2 weeks, and I found that $5 is a place to stay as a handmade seller. I saw that last night, Reworker's Passion, in your show, that the $5 reduced shipping. And you're making the point that I was about to get to is it doesn't have to be $9.21. You can pick any dollar amount that you want to cap that shipping at. So if you want to differentiate yourself from other sellers who are doing reduced at $9.21, but you're not quite to free, do 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 like a Reworker's Passion. You can pick the number. So that's your control. You're able to pick that. Maury says, I like dollar starts, but haven't been able to get enough folks in my shows and the bids aren't there. It takes a while. And I don't do dollar starts on a regular basis anymore. Every now and then I'll throw something in for $1. Ultimately, someday, yes, I would like to get there. It's a business goal, but it's not something I can do right now. Again, I go back to not being able to keep up with the demand. But there's dollar starts is another tool in your tool belt here at Whatnot, right? Totally not against them, but reduced shipping, if you can do it, my personal opinion is I recommend it, but again, it's not necessary. I see a lot that don't do it. However, as we move forward, just when you have some free time, take a minute, pick a category that you really like, or pick a couple of categories. Extending grace, I'll come right back to that question. Pick a couple of categories and just flip through and see how many people are doing free or reduced shipping. Now, in certain categories, it's probably more prevalent, maybe like in the jewelry, clothing, some of these that you can use flat rate, you might see it health and beauty a little more prevalently. But take a look through and then do that again a month from now. I bet you there's going to be more. And a month after that, it will continue to the point. And what I was getting back to, and I squirreled off of it, was Blockbuster Video. As the world started going to Netflix and having our services where we just have them on our TVs, what happened? It pushed out Blockbuster Video. Nobody uses VCRs and tapes anymore, right? We download movies. We watch Hulu, Netflix, whatever the channels are. Tony, not a seller. You got the giveaway, the ephemera pack. Congratulations. Thanks for coming to the show. The same thing's going to happen with reduced and free shipping. It's just the way businesses go. Eventually, we're all going to go there. Let me get back to extending grace. When you do reduce shipping, do you weigh your items differently, or rather do you assign different weights to the items? So if you're doing reduced shipping, I would suggest weighing the items in the exact same way that you normally would, because the buyer is still paying a portion of it, right? I would continue to weigh my items and put the weights in based on the actual weight of the item, plus any of the packaging that you would need to wrap that item appropriately, and the box that it goes in, or envelope, however it is that you package it, for reduced. That way, there's, who says it? Living Bliss Vintage? Am I saying that right, y'all? I know some of you know who I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure it's Living Bliss Vintage. She does shipping shows every Friday in the afternoons. And what she says, and I don't know if this is her saying or if she got it from somebody else. Thank you, Reworker's Passion. She says, if you pack it right, it'll ship right. So I don't know if she came up with that or if she got it. But anyway, I heard it from her. And it's 100% true. So for reduced shipping, that's what I suggest. If you put it in the right way, sell it the right way, it'll ship the right way. For free, if you're trying to go that route, I put everything in at 1 ounce. Because on the front end, when a buyer buys something, when they win an auction in one of my shows, automatically Whatnot charges me like $4.32, $4.36 because it's at 1 ounce. So automatically that comes off of my ledger. I'm paying for that every time somebody wins an item. Then at the end of the show, I take everything they bought, put it in the box. Then I weigh it appropriately and I adjust and pay whatever additional. That way, because I'm paying all of it, I want to pay the exact amount that I owe Whatnot. I want it to be exact. So that's how I do free, just to keep me from, I'm already paying a lot, so I don't want to pay a lot extra. And I actually messed up on this on one of the shows. So the last Dollar Holler show I did not have everything set like that. And I ended up paying a drastic amount in shipping because I did not set my weights appropriately for doing a free shipping show. I have done adjusted them for tonight, so I think it'll be better tonight's show. Do sellers typically list at lower dollars on Whatnot, and then the amounts they have on from my experience, 100% yes. However, this may not be true in all categories. I am speaking mainly from health and beauty, estate sale, storage, vintage decor perspective. Handmade, maybe not. Handmade, there's a lot that goes into it. You can't be listing something at $2 on a handmade. I mean, maybe some items, but I'm talking about, if you're crocheting something or you're, like custom wood burning, couldn't list something at $2 and make any money off of it, right? But typically, yes. I look at Whatnot as I get less money for my items, but I turn my inventory over quicker. It's a faster dollar. I'm going through my inventory. I sell higher volume of items on Whatnot in a lot shorter amount of time. Now, if I have something that costs, it's a little more high end, cost a little bit more money, I'll put those in shows and they may sell, but I have $200 or $300 items that have been sitting in my bin for months on Whatnot. Those items do better for me on some of the other platforms. And I'm not encouraging going and selling on the other platforms. I am just stating in general, some of the higher end products sell better for me on other platforms. But I've sold swung vases on here and got a very decent price for a swung vase. If a buyer wins a giveaway from me, like a sticker, does it give the buyer? It does. So the sticker for me is 79-cent shipping, or 73-cent shipping. So yeah, it does reduce the cost of that shipping by 73 cents. So that's and so now we're kind of getting into giveaways. If doing giveaways or not. I think yes. So, we go back to tools, and I'm going to talk a little bit about all the various tools that are available to you as a seller. And a giveaway is a tool. I like doing them in this show just because I think it's fun. I quit doing them in my other shows because they're an expense that I'd rather take that expense and put towards my shipping cost. But speaking of giveaways, let's really quick. I had one of my items I was going to talk about today is sponsored giveaways. So if you've been in a few of my shows, these talk shows, for a couple of weeks, I did sponsored giveaways. That's where somebody would give me $10. I would then put a $5 gift card in the giveaway so somebody can win it, right? And then during that time that giveaway is running, you talk about whoever sponsored it. Maybe you bring up their profile. Extending Hoods Run, catch the rest on. See you later, Extending Grace. Talk to you later. So then somebody would win it, right? And while it was running, you talk about the sponsor. I have decided not to do this anymore. And it was kind of weird the way when I decided not to was the exact same time Jeremy at Green 13 was like, if you're going to do it, this is a good way to do it. He's pretty much anti-sponsored giveaways. But he gave me a really nice shout out, and I'm like, oh, I wish that was like the best shout out ever. I wish I can continue doing this. But I've quit doing sponsored giveaways. And this is a personal opinion, personal decision for me. And here's why. I'm going to be completely transparent with you on why I quit doing it. A Reworker's Passion, you're part of the reason I quit. It was something that you said, and in a good way, not in a bad way, but it was something that you said that stuck with me and really made me start thinking. And I'm going to squirrel here for just a minute. Y'all, if you aren't going into these chat shows, I mean, not just mine, there are so many of them. Reworker's Passion, Living Bliss Vintage, Sassy Vintage Chick. I mean, I can probably, Custom Wood Burning are some of my favorites. I can, Green 13, obviously, on Sundays. Maybe all of it doesn't apply to you, but there's always little bits of nuggets of wisdom that you can pull out. And at least, even if it just gives you something that you start mulling over in your brain. Doesn't mean you have to change anything, but I probably watch more talk shows, the community chat shows, than I do selling shows on Whatnot. I don't know if that's good or not, but I just pull something so much from these sellers. Anyways, what Array Workers I was getting back to, but she had just kind of said something that made my brain start churning, and I'm like, ooh, that hit. Like I felt that. Like you got a good point. And this is the point. Um, I I want to promote somebody because I believe in them. I want my reputation to be Tracy at Zoe's Treasures said Southern Charm was awesome because she believes in Southern Charm, not because Southern Charm gave me $10 to run a gift card. I want you to know me as somebody who's, when I'm speaking to you, it's coming from my heart. It's coming from what I believe in. And I didn't feel that with the sponsored giveaways. I felt that I'm promoting people just because they put $10 in bought a $10 item or gift card. And I'm not, it's not against anybody that I promoted. I think they're all great people. But when I stepped back and I started thinking about it, I'm like, this is not how I want to promote people. I want you to know that if I call you out, if I mention your name in my show, it's because I've watched your shows. I like what you have to say. Yeah, something you've said has made me think. Something you've said has made me feel a certain way. So your products are good. There's some reason for my endorsement of you. And that reason isn't monetary. That reason isn't money. So I've quit doing them. Just that is that. However, thank you guys. I appreciate that. I mean, it's just, and I really wanted to do them. It wasn't for me. But I think this is a good example. One of the things I talk about is trying new things in business. You are never going to grow your business being stagnant. And this is a perfect example of trying something. I had been doing these talk shows for months, over a year now, because I started last tax season. So I've been doing these talk shows for a long time. Never did the sponsored giveaways. Never had any. I don't have anything against them. Any sellers who do them, great. You do what works for you. But I had never done it. And I thought, this would be a cool way to call people out and whatever. And I tried it. I didn't like it. So now I'm not doing it. That's business. You can apply that. You can do that for everything. Don't be afraid to try something. Do you think the screen name makes a big difference for a seller, as in, should it sound like a shop or a regular screen name like mine? I do think it makes a difference in your overall branding. I think your screen name could pigeonhole you. Like you could be, Bob's T-shirt Factory. I don't know if that's a true screen name or not. Primp Shopper, you need to pivot. Actually, absolutely. But like if you see the screen name Bob's T-shirt Factory, what do you think in your head? This guy sells T-shirts, right? So your name does imply something about you. And if you make it too specific, what if Bob doesn't want to sell T-shirts? What if T-shirts take a nosedive and now, jeans are the next hottest thing? But he's T-shirts. He may lose business because people don't know he sells jeans, so they wouldn't arrive that from his name. So I think a name should be easy to read, for one. Y'all are great people, I am sure. But some of you, I cannot say your names to save my life. So a name that is easy for people to read, a name that is easy to remember, easy to pronounce to some degree. Here's one, and I don't think it's a bad name, but this is one, and I've even heard people who use this name say it themselves. Underscore, you're reading my mind, Southern Charm, but the word eclectic. Eclectic is a hard word to say for some people, right? So think about that. Think about, what does your name represent? Is it too pigeonhole? Is it too broad? Who am I? Does it go with your logo? Can you turn it into something? It's your brand. It's who you are, right? Underscores, yes. I would suggest underscores. Now, I didn't. I went against that. I only have 2 words, though. And here I am speaking from somebody who spelled Zoe with an X. So I get the irony. Totally get the irony. It is after my daughter, though. That's why I do have a X. So yeah, I think names do matter a lot. Let's see. I've been a buyer on here for 2 years and will start selling soon. Should I change my name? Trish, I would recommend for Trish 5588. What does that tell me? I mean, honestly, and I'm not being hard. I'm not trying to be mean or harsh. But what does that tell me? How are you going to brand that? How does that tie into a logo? How does that tie into who you are? Now, if you've spent a lot of time and you've built up a following, you can still change your name. You do it slowly. I used to be Zoe T. For over a year, I was Zoe T on here. But every show I would say, hey, this is Zoe's Treasures. I changed the name, and then recently I've done the logo. It's how you handle changing it. So yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what your name should be or like if you should change it or not. That's a personal decision, but definitely think about the branding concept. I talk a lot about branding. You got to make people remember who you are. Look at how many sellers are on Whatnot. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but I know at any given time on a Saturday afternoon in vintage decor, there's 30 to 40 shows going on. And oh, I got to do another giveaway here. My husband's yelling at me. He's like, giveaway time. All right, what's this? What do we have in this? I got a bunch of giveaway envelopes over here. This is another ephemera pack. Old postcards, old checks, little number card, like a playing card. So some old ephemera. Let's get this up and going. If I can find it. There we go. All right, an old ephemera pack up next for the next giveaway. Do you think that a buy it now show is a good idea? I'm not against it. Honestly, I do Flash Sale Fridays, which is kind of a buy it now show. I have found for me that I like to do some of the auctions still in a buy it now show, but you're still selling, right? Now, Whatnot does say you cannot just set something on the screen and have it, call it a buy it now show, set something on your screen and walk away. Whatnot, in their terms of service, actually says you have to have some active presence in that show. So I'm not against buy it now shows. I personally would go in and watch one. And like I said, I try it out on Friday nights with flash sales. I think you got to keep that engagement going. So it's how you do it. Are you running some flash sales? Are you mixing it up with some auctions? You've got to judge the room. Are they getting bored? Do you need a little bit more excitement happening in there? Are you varying prices? So what are you doing to kind of keep their interest, right? Am I missing any questions? Let's see here. All right. Doesn't look like I'm missing questions. So I'm going to kind of keep talking here about some other stuff. So I talk a lot about breaking down the barriers to buying, right? You want to create a good buying experience for your buyer. That at the end of the day, what do we want? If you're a seller, we want money, right? We want to make sales. That's what we're here for. We're not here. Yes, it's a social app. Maybe there's a certain percentage of people who come on here because this is they don't get out of the house much and this is their way to connect socially. In general, we are here because we have something to sell. I know what I say is not going to apply to every single person. How do you feel about pop-up shows? What is the best way to promote a show that you're doing quickly? I think pop-ups are wonderful, especially if you have a following. I mean, I don't have a huge following, but if I do a pop-up, immediately I'll see people start popping into my show. So I think pop-ups are great. I do think you should have a consistent show. You should try to find a day and time, whether it's multiple days a week or just one day a week, where you have that consistency that people can count on you being there. But I think pop-ups are wonderful. Bin shows, do you have to show every item on screen like an auction item? You don't, Curly Q, but let's think about this too. This goes back to breaking down the barriers of buying. I can pull up a listing, and let's just do it. So this could be a bin show that I'm not showing anything, right? Let's talk about this. All right, this is a super expensive item, so I'm going to pin this one because nobody will probably buy it. So I just pinned an item up there. If this is a bin show, hey, look, I've got this antique transferware coffee pot. It's really cool. It's white and brown. They're not there to see it, right? We have to sell it. We have to remove the barriers. A barrier here is the buyer can't feel it. The buyer can't smell it. They can't look inside of it, right? So what we need to do is we need to do all of that for them. We need to make it easy for them to want to buy. So showing the item, let me get this off of the screen here. Showing the item helps with that. So I don't think it's necessary. No, you don't have to, but I think you're not removing a barrier by not showing the item. Speaking about engagement, is it better to be on camera and present the item, or be off camera and just talk about it, putting camera on item only? It depends what the item is, honestly. So yeah, I think that's the question, is faceless shows. And I think it depends on the item. If you're selling small little jewelry items, and Green 13 is a perfect example of this. Check out his jewelry shows, because this is a 100% answers your question right here. When he's doing jewelry shows, he has like a camera here, some setup, and his jewelry is right here. So he can zoom in and really show that jewelry piece. So the buyers are getting a really good view. He's turning it around. You know what you're about to bid on, right? Every now and then, though, he'll flip that camera and talk to the audience a little bit. Creates that personal connection. There are some sellers on here, though, who have never shown their face and are highly successful. If you are never going to show your face, I think you need to be a little more engaging, a little more entertaining in some sense of the word. How are you keeping them interested? Are you moving things fastly? Are you funny? Are they just like, heck, I just like to listen to you. You're funny. I can care less what you look like. I noticed personally when I flipped the camera around, because my first 5 months, I didn't show my face. I was too nervous. I found once I flipped the camera around, I started to grow faster. I think making that personal connection helps. Do you have to? No. Gina, you won an ephemera pack. Congratulations, and thank you for being in the show this morning. I appreciate you stopping by. There you go. So Amy Parent, I don't show my face when I'm doing live estate sales. I want the buyer to see all the items available. Absolutely. But then also at the same time, like Amy Parent, I know what she looks like. There's other shows that she shows her face, and I feel this connection. Like I have this picture of who I'm talking to, even if I'm talking in the chat, of who she is, right? Let's see, I'm a buyer on here. I have a handful of buyers that I go to, or sellers go to. Personalities are great. Yep, actually, I mean, your personality. So here's my question for you. This was a big thing. I talk about pre-show, show, and post-show. Showtime. When it's showtime, what is the most important thing in your show? Any thoughts for you? What is the most important thing in your show? So we have the customer, your attitude, traffic, my energy. So you guys are hitting on it. And actually, Amy Perrin, right here, let's see. I wrote it down right here, attitude. I have the word attitude right there from my notes. That's what it is. It is you. You are the most important thing in your show. 100%, without a doubt. I have seen people come on here and sell a piece of chewed gum. I am not joking. I saw that sell one day. It is you. Yes, you should have good products. That helps. All of that helps. All of that builds up to what you're going to sell. But you are the most important thing. Your mood, your energy, as people have been saying in the chat, your demeanor. How many people like to get yelled at? Okay, sometimes it's kind of entertaining for a minute or two. But how many people like to go on the show and get yelled at? I leave is what we say. Right? Don't be loud. Okay. But it's who you are, the brand. I don't want to say you're selling yourself. You're selling a product, but you represent everything. We're going to talk a little bit here about atmosphere, but I don't want to get off of you. In business, we have a saying, the tone at the top. Maybe some of you have heard this or use it in your workplaces. But it's what happens at the top flows through to the rest of the organization, right? What happens with you flows through to the rest of your show and to your buyers. You are the tone at the top. You are setting the mood, the energy, the atmosphere. It all comes from you, what you are doing. Setting the tone at the top. Let's think about it like this. I'm going to give you a real life example. I always like to try to give real life examples when I can. At home distractions are a huge deal. Kids playing, interrupting. Absolutely. We're going to talk about noise too, like the sounds in the background. But let's use a real life example. Let's just say I'm going to just kind of use a standard husband and wife work. Wife's at home. Maybe the wife's working. Let's flip it around. Wife goes to work. Husband's at home with the kids. Okay. Wife comes home from work at the end of the day, 6 o'clock at night, and she comes in and slams the door and she's like, I had such a terrible day at work. My God, my boss is an idiot. Blah, 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 blah. What does the husband and the kids do immediately, right? Okay, don't talk to mom. She's in one of her moods. You have just set the tone for the next how many hours in your home, right? What if mom walks in at night and she's like, no matter what happened at work that day, she shuts the door. Hi, honey. Hi, babies. How are you? How was your day? Did you guys have a great day today? What do we have going on for dinner tonight? You set the tone. It's the same thing in your show with your buyers. It's no different. So you can take all your real life stuff and apply it to the show. At-home distractions, so I just kind of want to get back to that. I put on here, so we're talking about during the show, what's happening during a show. So how you show up, you and how you show up is super important because it transfers to your buyers. But yes, the sound. Sound isn't just can people hear you, but it's everything in the background. And we've talked about this before. It is so distracting. Now, sometimes you expect it. If you're doing a live selling environment, buyers expect that sound. That I think is kind of normal, okay. Like you're expecting that. You go into a live selling, live shopping show. When somebody's shopping, selling from Goodwill, estate sales, whatever, you're expecting some background noise. But I will leave if I hear your little kid, mommy, 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 every 2 seconds. I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. And it's nothing against your moms. You know what? I admire you for your hustle, getting out there and doing it. It could be very distracting for your buyers. Again, we're talking about removing barriers to buying. I want to make the experience as pleasant for my buyers as I possibly can. I'm missing something. My husband's pointing at something. The best way to block out time for the show, treat it as a business. There you go. This is a business. The IRS calls it a business, right? This is a business. So the kids, the dishwasher in the background, all of that stuff, all of those things are noise. Some of it you can control, some of it you can't. The other thing, when you have more than one person, and I see this a lot when you have sisters, brothers, families selling together, husband and wife, people talking over each other is so distracting. If my husband starts talking right now and I'm talking, you guys are like, one at a time, please. So just paying attention to those things. All of these things matter to some degree. It may not be the end all, it's the everything that's going to make or break your show, but they all add into it. These are all barriers to your buyers. Our buyers are not with us in person. They can't feel, smell, hear whatever your products are, try it on. We are that conduit. We're what they're watching, and we need to make that experience as easy for them as possible. If I'm having to listen to a little kid, banging their toys even in the background, and I'm not talking just a little noise, but I'm talking about like full on throwing toys around, as sometimes little kids can do. They're kids, that's what they do, right? And I'm trying to listen to you sell, I'm out. What are your thoughts about background music? So I had that on my list. I think background music, if done properly, adds to the ambiance of a show. It depends though. And here's where my caveat is. Make sure it's royalty-free music. I 100% disagree, and this is me. People do it and you do what you want to do. I 100% disagree with playing copyrighted music in the background. It's copyright, it's against law. To me, that is no different than misuse of USPS shipping supplies. Just don't do it. Why? Why are you risking it? This is your life, your business. Why are you risking it? I also, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it. When you have your Alexa or your Echo or whatever, and it's playing music, first, it's probably copyrighted, but you can find royalty-free music. It is out there. When you have the Echo or the Alexa or a radio or something in the background playing, it doesn't necessarily always come through nice and clear on a phone. It sounds a little muffly. It sounds kind of a staticky kind of sounding. From your customer's experience, it doesn't always sound good. And then too, you've got to make sure your music is, I don't want to go into music and hear a bunch of cussing in the songs, and that's just me. However, let me kind of frame this a little bit different. As much as you come to your show and create the atmosphere, you also have to think, overall, besides me, what atmosphere am I creating here? And I put some notes here. And this goes into everything that goes around it. Let me look at the questions real quick and I'll get back. Where are you running it from? My husband will answer that. He takes care of my technology, but there is a way to hook it up to your phones and run it through your phone. I'm going to let him answer.
So we use Spotify, and I look for royalty-free music. There's a lot of albums that are royalty-free, especially if you are multicasting with YouTube. If it's copyrighted, it won't let you post it unless you have the permission from the author. So what I do is I connect my iPad to a soundboard, and then that's how I feed the music into the show.
So you don't have to be super high tech. There's other like ways to do it. Or sometimes even just moving it farther away so it's not so close to the phone and it's picking up that staticky-ness is another way to do it. Make sure music is not louder than you. Absolutely. You have to be cognizant. Now, some people may not like our background music. Some people at Christmas, we do some Christmas tunes back there, or some, the royalty free. Usually our stuff doesn't have lyrics. It's usually just kind of elevator type music. Some people may not like that. Okay. But we're not going to play anything that's copyrighted. That's just us. What was I going to talk about? Oh, I'm talking about the atmosphere you create. So as a seller, you create an atmosphere, right? Think about a mall. Again, everything I do relates to, you can relate it back to retail shopping. So think about a mall. What are you trying to create? Are you trying to create an Abercrombie and Finch environment where it's like, young boys with too much axe who's trying to make it to first base? Is that your atmosphere that you're trying to create? If so, loud music, dark lights, right? Are you trying to create a relaxing, let's sip and enjoy our coffee and listen to some music while you show me cool products atmosphere? That's going to dictate your background, your music, like kind of how you're coming across. Are you trying to create like a hip clothing store feel? If you're trying to create a hip clothing store, shouldn't you be dressed in your hip clothing? Maybe your background is a different type of background, right? Love it when buyers talk to me. Sometimes I feel like I'm asking the same questions to get them engaged in a conversation. Do you have tips on that? Just keep talking. That's what I think. And even if you're asking the same questions, Tanya, people come and go. Some of the people that are there in the beginning of your show are not the same ones answering the question at the end of the show. I would just keep asking questions. And you don't have to, you can show something. We talk a lot. Sometimes I'll show something and we have a debate about what is this used for? Oh, it's used for ice cream. It's one of our favorite things to talk about. It's used for ice cream. And we talk about, oh no, root beer floats. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? So anything, just, I struggle with this a lot myself. This is an area, I'm super introverted. I'm like, you probably look at me like, oh, you're up there talking, blah, 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 blah. I am super introverted and small talk is extremely difficult for me, extremely. In my professional life, on my annual reviews, every single year for the last 15 years, I am not lying to you, I have gotten the review point, the feedback that I need to be more personable, that I can't be so just business. So I feel you when you talk, you're asking a question about the same questions. This is something every single show that I myself have to make a conscious effort to try. I probably went for the first 8 months and never engaged in my chat at all because I didn't know what to say. And there's even times now you'll see me, because I'm like, I don't know what to say. So honestly, it's something you have to, if it doesn't come naturally, something you have to work on. And it's okay to ask the same question 10 times. And sometimes I'll say something over and over and over again. And I'm like, y'all, if you've been in here for an hour, I'm sorry you're hearing this, but this is for the new people. Make a joke out of it. It's okay. I work at Wawa and talk to everyone on here. I'm the total opposite. Yeah. You were the opposite in reviews. Yeah, I get it. I actually just had my annual review at work, and that was one of the points of one of my goals. We do goals at our work where we actually have to physically write down goals, and then we're monitored on how we're meeting them throughout the year. And one of my goals was I need to create more professional relationships. It's just not who I am. If my chat is dead, I have a deck of would you rather cards. I love that idea. Valerie's Corner, that's so fun. See, things like that. And I bet you could go to any thrift store and find like an old deck of some type of game cards, trivia cards, would you rather, something like that. I love that. I hate it when sellers get stuck in a debate. Quick, 15 minutes plus, it ruins the show. Yeah, if you take anything too long, you can. So yeah, I love that would you rather idea. That sounds like so much fun. So there you go. There's some great ideas about how to create the chat. But if we go back to just, the whole concept of this is you are creating the atmosphere, and that includes what's in your background. Look, you don't need some big old setup to sell on Whatnot. I have seen people sell out of their basements, their closets, their garages, you name it, they've sold out. It probably has happened on Whatnot, right? But you need to be conscious of it. Your background does add to the atmosphere you are creating. How do you do the shipping labels and packing? I could talk a little bit about shipping, but honestly, I don't feel that I'm the super expert here, and there's other people who have done such great jobs. 13 Slucky, I'm going to refer you to two people that I think do great job at talking about shipping. So Living Bliss Vintage does a chat show every Friday. Her chat shows are usually focused on shipping. My husband will put her name up. It's Living Bliss Vintage. And then the Hodgepodge Place, she is another seller on here. She does chat shows, but she also has a YouTube video that's like an hour or so video that is all about shipping. And that's the one I always recommend. Actually, there's a third one. The House of Coop just released a 2-hour shipping video on their YouTube, and I think they're all under the same name. So 3 people who are like the shipping gurus of Whatnot, that's what I'm going to refer you to instead of trying to answer your question. And I'm sorry I'm not answering it, but I think they do a better job. The second one was the Hodgepodge Place. What is the cute turquoise piece behind me? I am not sure what you were talking about, but we have, ta-da, this is my blue and white sale. So this is tonight, or no, sorry, not tonight. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. we are doing blue and white. So everything is my blue and white sale. You did your first unbundle last night. Good job, Choco Dog. Are promotions worth it? So I'm assuming you're asking about Whatnot promotions, because when you say promotions, I think of 2 things. I think of Whatnot promotions, okay, and then I think of sponsored promos. I have never done a Whatnot promotion, so I am going to speak to you based on what I have heard from other sellers that I respect their opinion. So Jeremy of Green 13 does not recommend promotions. Instead of spending the money there, take that money that you would have spent and do lower starts or do some type of reduced shipping, some direct benefit to your buyers. Your buyers are happy, they're word of mouth, you're gonna get more buyers coming in. Now on the other side of that, I Love Discounts used promotions for the first few months they were here and felt that they were contributed to their success when they began on the platform. So I have heard from 2 sellers that I respect both sides of the coin. My advice to you would be try it on a small scale. Take one of your best shows, like if you do like a special, mine or every Saturday I do a curated show. Take one of those shows, allocate a certain amount of money and try it and evaluate the results to see if you felt that was worth it or not. Because I've never done it. I feel that just kind of organic growth. Let's see. So, my husband went to Philly and Delaware last week. He brought me, soft pretzels from Wawa. Yes. Okay. Oh, so you guys having cool. Keep it up. I'm trying to catch up on questions, but my husband's talking. My husband's over here, so that's cool. In total shipping, I don't know if it's confusing because I have celebrity estate auction items and they are not light, so I don't hold the show until I know how to ship. How to ship heavy items. Hold on, did I miss it? I am new and I'm struggling getting the foot traffic of people coming in, which is why I've been considering. I mean, again, you may want to try it. I've never done it, so I don't have personal experience on whether it's worked for me or not, and I have heard both sides of the fence. Kendra, I would instead do what you're doing here. Come into shows, talk to people, make friends, chat, and then be consistent. Be consistent. It is rare, I'm going to tell you, it is rare that a seller comes on here and instantly has, 50 or 60 people or more. The ones over 100, I have maybe on a raid train once or twice I've had over 100. Very, very rare. So you're not going to get on here your first show and have that many people. Let me take that back. Whatnot promotes very first shows. So I see a lot of first shows with 60 or so people, but then shows 2, 3, and 4 have 3 people, maybe. So you're not going to come on here and just everybody be like, oh, this person's so wonderful. It takes time, like anything else. It takes time for people to get to know you, to realize that you're a good, honest seller, that you're not a scammer. It takes time for people to say, I can trust their shipping. I bought one small item from them, they shipped it, it was packaged right. And that's building relationships. That's what's different about Whatnot, as the social aspect of this. And it is a relationship building type platform. So that to me is the biggest piece of advice. I have 57 people in here. This is a lot for me. I normally don't have this. I missed the first shipping show. Can you repost, please? Sure. A Living Bliss Vintage. She does chat shows every Friday. Sometimes the times vary, but if you go to her profile, you'll be able to see what she has scheduled. Her shows are mainly centered around shipping, and she's super awesome about answering shipping questions. So that was the first one I said. The Hodgepodge Place. Not only will she answer your questions, but she has a video. I recommend her YouTube video. And the House of Coop, they do a chat show too. I think it's Tuesday evenings, but they also just released a YouTube video on shipping. And those are three sellers that I personally respect their, when they say something, they've been around a while, they speak from experience. Y'all, if you are new, y'all do what you want. But if you're new and you have less than 1,000 sales and you come on and do chat shows to tell people how to do something, and it's not like we want the market, like those of us who've been around want the market on chat shows. It's not. But even my show, when you got to really evaluate where information is coming from. There is a lot of misinformation out there, so just be careful. Look, the third one was the House of Coop, and it's COOP, the House of Coop. You got to evaluate where that information is coming. It's no different than anything else in life. You don't go to Google and just believe everything you read, right? You evaluate the source of the information. I chose my sellers and they respond so sweet. Chat shows has taught me so much, and they're great. I was saying at the very beginning, I love the community shows. They're one of my favorite. I think I have met people in custom wood burning. I've mentioned her name like 4 times today. One, she's a conductor of the Battle of the Plain White Envelope train this weekend, but she's a handmade seller. I would never have found her because handmade wasn't a category that was really on my radar. It just wasn't. I came across her community show and I'm like, oh, I like this lady. She's mellow, but she's smart and she has really good insight and she's organized in her notes and I love it. Reworker's Passion, she's on here too. You want some motivation? Leslie is a Reworker's Passion. You will get some motivation and you'll get truthful motivation. She's not going to blow smoke up, she's not going to do that. She's going to be truthful, but she's kind. Let's see, Handmade Seller. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the handmade category on Whatnot, y'all go check this out. I'm going to be honest. I was not familiar with the handmade category. My husband wants to talk.
Reworker's Passion. Her soaps are amazing.
They are. A Reworker's Passion. I just have to tell you, me and my husband fight over your soaps. I don't know if you've noticed, but recently I placed an order and he placed an order because he's not allowed to use my soap because that's for me. And so we have this whole thing where we fight over your soaps in my house now. Just saying, because they are really, really amazing. I use one on my face and it feels so soft. I love it. The Handmade Seller was custom wood burning. Let's see if I can tag her. Let's see if I can get her in, and not get her to the show, but just tag her so you guys can go to her site. You got it up there? There, I have it here. I'm just going to tag it real quick. All right. So I just tagged her just so you guys can click on it and follow really easy. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's her site. She is great. I hear this often. I know I'm doing something good when men use this. Oh yeah, he loves it. He loves it. So this is a custom wood burning. She does chat shows. Go over to her shows real quick. Because what day? Her days are Tuesday chats. Keep going. There's a battle show right there. See the little coffee cup? That's her chat show icon. Thanks, honey. I love her chat shows. And again, I would have never found the handmade category. She's the one who kind of brought me into the handmade, like really starting to explore the handmade category. I think I had heard about it. Let me rephrase it. I had heard about it, but I wasn't really shopping it until I found her shows. So, do you recommend keeping the same day and time or changing it up? I recommend two things here. Yes, I think having a day and time, at least one day and time that your people know to expect you is good. Having said that, life happens. Life happens. Sometimes you got to change it. I search out community chat shows. I have been on this app as a seller almost 2 years and learned something new. Yeah, me too. I learn there is just nuggets and everything people like, not everything somebody says, but almost every chat show, I leave that chat show, almost everyone, with something. At least from the, let me rephrase. There's a group of them. There's some chat shows that are just nonsense, y'all. There just is. There's some chat shows that are nonsense. But the people that I'll call out who do chat shows, those are the ones that are like talking some truth of some sort around some topic. But back to the same time or changing it, I think you should have something that's consistent. Other than that, you may have to play with it. But yes, I think there is some good things to having something consistent. I love chat shows. I learned so much. Oh, thank you so much, The Woven Basket. I have started to finally see growth by having a set show time each week and then adding in extra shows as well. Crystal's right there. And it may take you a while. It's taken me almost a year to get to the point where I have my consistent schedule. And even then, again, life happens and sometimes you have to change it up. Monday, perfect example. I normally have a Monday morning show. I have to leave Sunday morning. I have to leave to go to Dallas. I will not have a Monday morning show because I'll be in Dallas. However, I am doing the Battle of the Plain White Envelope from my hotel room in Dallas because it's plain white envelopes. I can fit 10 or 15 products in my suitcase. So I was super excited. I'm like, I can do a show on the road. We also have done, when we've traveled, we've done some shows where we multicast from other cities. So my husband will be here and I'll be like in Orlando. We've done those and those are always fun to do. All right, so we are talking about your atmosphere, what's behind you. There is a seller, and I don't call out, I never say, if I talk about a seller in a way that is not in a pretty way, I never say their name. I'm not gonna like ever intentionally embarrass somebody on this app. But I have seen sellers where it seriously looks like a hoarder's house. And I'm not saying like there's just a bunch of stuff. Like I am saying like it looks like a episode of that TV show, The Hoarders. And how does that make you feel? We're talking about removing barriers to buying. Now, what's behind somebody, you may not think about that as a barrier, but what they're seeing, all your buyers have is this little box right here. This is all they have, right? Every judgment, every desire for your product or not for your product, every feeling, every emotion comes from what they view, what they see and hear in this box. Just starting out, my show times are so random. Okay, great. So all of it matters. All of it matters. Did I miss a? That's good to just start out. All my show times so random. I'm still trying to fix my shows, wanting to look nice behind me. Exactly. All of this, what's behind you matters. If I see a hoarder, like literally, you know what that tells me? What it makes me feel. It doesn't tell me something. How it makes me feel. It makes me go like ick. Because what do I think of when I think of a hoarder? Cockroaches, mice. I don't. And then that translates to my products, right? Like, oh, are they clean? Maybe it looks clean on the screen, but I can't get over the ick. Okay. I've seen a show like that. I was overwhelmed, but they had 150 people in the room buying stuff. I mean, some people don't care. But I watch the successful sellers. Watch people who in your eyes are successful. And that doesn't mean a lot of people in the room. Doesn't mean they're making like what you think is a lot of money, because that's something else I wanted to touch on today. But look at the people who are on consistently, have a good chat, are engaging with people. These people that are like making it work on whatnot, who have been here for a while. Let's see. When I see a bunch of stuff piled up behind it around somebody, it just reminds me that I don't need more stuff. I wouldn't have even thought about that. So, and this is a perfect example. Each of us, it's going to evoke different feelings in different people. I just know for me, I want to evoke the best feelings that I can in my buyers, because I want them to feel calm, happy, relaxed, excited to get my products, wanting to be in the room. That's what I don't want to evoke the ick. That's not my goal as a seller. I saw a lady eating with her fingers and I was so grossed out. This is everything you do. Eating now, I think drinking something you got to stay hydrated when you're selling. I have my own home decor behind me, not what I'm selling. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's fine. I think it's fine if you may get questions. People will be like, hey, I like that picture. Is it for sale? And you can be like, oh no, this is just my backdrop. This is actually, I sell out of my living room. And it's a good conversation starter. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. To me, it's what are you trying to create? Again, I go back to, are you, with what you're selling and what your product is, do you want a relaxed coffee shop, a hip hop clothing store, an antique mall? Do you want your sellers to feel like they've just entered into a booth in an antique mall? What are you trying to evoke? What feelings? How you dress, how you present yourself, what's behind you, all of that goes into evoking a feeling from your buyer. Thoughts on rooms or shelf scans to get requests on items to run. I am going to tell you my honest thoughts on this, and I am sorry if I offend anybody. I hate them. I hate to scan the shelf shows. I don't do them. There's nothing wrong with them. You do you. If it works for you, more power to you. I think the only place that, in my opinion, that those work is if you're doing a live selling show, because obviously they're not you have to show people what you're live selling, right? Like not live, when I say live selling, like the live shopping, that's what I mean. When you're doing the live estates or the live like Goodwills, or some people do them at like Dollywood or Disney, stuff like that. But in general, for me to take my phone and to be like, okay, what do you want? What do you want? I hate it. It's not my style. It works for some people though. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not going to do that for me. I find that the movement of the phone makes me feel dizzy. And there's two sayings here, two very popular sellers on this app. ABS, if anybody knows what ABS, I know there's some Green 13 fans in here. ABS and RTS. Those are not my phrases. I do not get credit for those. ABS is Green 13's, always be selling. When you are, there you go, thank you, Southern Charm, Daisy Lane. When you are saying, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You're not selling anything. You're just annoying people. RTS, run that. There you go, Southern Charm. That is Corey Mann. Is it Corey Mann X or Corey Max? Corey, KORYMANX is RTS. Run that. Run it. You cannot sell if it is not running. There is nothing wrong with picking up an item, describing it, and hitting the run button. No, you're not making money by moving your phone around. You're not. The time that it takes you to move your phone around, pick up an item and run it. Now, if you have it on the shelf and you go to one item, okay, hey, I'm going to run this. This is a vase, blah, 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 run it. Then I move over to my next item. Hey, check this out. I got this really cool, whatever, run it. That I think is a little bit different. What I personally don't like is the, and you yell at me too, Southern Charm. I'm like, just run your stuff. If you're asking me to tell you what I want, first of all, a lot of people, a good majority of people, watch Whatnot with no sound. So if I'm just watching. If you're not running anything, I'm not bidding. A lot of people are shy. They don't want to type in chat. So they're not going to ask you for something. Touch it, run it, write, scan, and talk about the items. I can't watch. I watch on mute. So yeah. What about run times? I like that. What about run times? I think it depends on the items you're running. I think sometimes if you have a really high end, so let's think about it like this. Because to me, run times are very specific on your items. In a general auction, I will hover between 10, 15, and 20 seconds. You got to read the room. Are they getting bored? Is an item that's selling really fast? You want to create some FOMO, so you want people to hurry up and swipe, swipe, swipe. Maybe I'm going to do a shorter time because I want to create that urgency, that need. Maybe it's a battle of the best show, and I'm going to run my item for 2 minutes because I'm starting it at $1 and I want to get the highest amount for this item. So the run times really are reflective of what are you selling, how are you selling it, what's the style that you're selling it in, and is it engaging to your people in your room. one seller tells you originally costs like 200 and or higher, makes you okay. I saw a seller the other day and every single item was on eBay, it's this, on Etsy, it's this, on every single item. And I'm like, you know what was going through my head? Then go sell it there. Like that was like, I can care less. I'm on Whatnot. I am on Whatnot. I want Whatnot prices. Like, if it was something, that occasionally I will make some reference like, hey, this is highly collectible. I checked it out on some comps. I am going to run this at about half of what I saw. Occasionally, I do that when I have an item that's rare or that I think that maybe it's something that isn't as popular where people might not like associate a value with. But all the time, oh, yeah. An item is only worth what it sells for. There you go, a reworker's passion, 100%. I mean, and proof is some of these items that you can have sitting around forever, and then you drop the price and it sells immediately. What does that tell you? You overpriced your item. It's what is the market bearing? There is a Whatnot market. This is retail 101 right here. You cannot sell you can't go into whatever your local grocery store is, and they're not selling a regular Snickers bar for $10. The market doesn't bear a $10 price on a Snickers candy bar, right? Now, California candy bar may be $3, Michigan candy bar may be $2. You may have some, again, it's the market in that locality, right? The Whatnot market is a different market than the eBay market or the Etsy market or whatever other online market it is. It's different. Absolutely, as a seller, get to know that before you're selling. If you're going to save yourself a ton of frustration. I am not saying this to say, oh, price everything super low. Not at all. But there is a Whatnot market. Understand it. Understand the market in which you are selling. It's frustrating when sellers act disappointed when something sells for a low price. Like, only run something for the price you're okay with. 100%. 100%. If you're not okay with getting $1, $2, $3 for that item, then price it higher. Price it higher. If you then tell me, well, it's not worth $6, it's only worth $3, then why are you upset that it's over $3? Like, that just goes back. Yeah, price it for what you need it to go for. Some of the other stuff when we're talking about, don't feel bad if you win an auction at a low price, Kendra. Do not feel bad. The seller knows what they're doing. Look, I am in full control as a seller, as is every other seller on this platform. When we put an item in, we put the price in. I control what my finger types on that keyboard. So don't feel bad. Don't. Feel, hey, wow, I got a great deal. There you go. Yep, I got a great deal. And if the seller feels bad, that is on them, 100%. Besides hoarding house, keep the other things in mind. Dirty laundry. I've seen piles of dirty laundry. Some people sell out of their closet, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see a lot of clothes on hangers. Great. Okay, I'm a clothing seller. I have a lot of clothes on hangers. That makes sense, right? I don't want to see your big old pile of dirty underwear in the corner. Keep your dirty drawers to yourself, right? Unmade beds. Some people have to sell out of their bedrooms because you know what? That's the space they have. I've seen, there's everything on here. Somewhere, just, somewhere on Whatnot, you'll see it. Make your bed. Take 30 seconds. If you're selling from your bedroom, no big deal, but make it neat. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to picture you laying in bed. Like, I want to picture your items. I think the whole point here is everything in that box gives the buyer a feeling. What feeling do you want them to have? I also wish a seller would state when other writers are still shopping. I'm not sure what you're saying, Allison. Hold on. I also wish seller would state when other raters are still. Allison, clarify. I'm not understanding. A seller that I really like got so upset at selling prices, he stopped and ended the show. It took me a while to visit him again. And then Southern Charm says she accidentally started an item for $1. It was supposed to start higher. Someone bought it for $1. Exactly. All right. I want to go back to a seller stopped the show because the items weren't selling. I think there's two sides to this. Well, no, I think it's okay to do that, but it's how you do it. It's how you do it. If you're in a show and people just aren't bidding, you're doing a show, everything's great. Your attitude is good, your energy's good, all the stuff is jiving. But for some reason, just stuff isn't selling. and you feel yourself getting that frustration, and you're like, you know what, in your head, it'd probably be best before my feelings make it out onto this camera, it'd probably be best if I stop my show. That's okay to do. It's okay to recognize that. Actually, I applaud you for recognizing your feelings and knowing it's probably better for me to end than to continue to go on. But then it's how you do it. Hey, everybody, I was planning on going on for 2 hours, but I think I've got to end. I am so sorry, but there's this awesome seller on. We're going to go raid. It's how you do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because again, remember, it's you, it's your attitude, it's your energy. And if it's not there, it's better to end it, but it's how you end it. I look at facial expressions. I've seen sellers look annoyed at my buys, made me feel exactly. Don't do that as a seller. I totally agree with you. Let's see. Yesterday, a lady got pretty ugly with me because I tried to buy what she wanted. Hey, these are auctions. And here's the thing. And I see it in my auctions as a seller. I know everybody has seen it as buyers. And if you're sellers, you've seen this too. Somebody requests something. They're like, hey, can I see item number 855? And you're like, sure. And you pull it out and you run it. And then nobody else bids because Sally Joe requested that item. It is an auction. An auction means anybody in that room can bid on that item. That's the way it works. And as a buyer, you have to understand that. Now, there's very few circumstances that doesn't apply, but I think it applies 100%, because there is some concept of, I'm going to make you a bundle and then run it as an auction. And then it's like, okay, this is only for Sally Joe. Don't anybody else bid on it. It's an auction. Like, if that bundle's really cool and I want it. Now, there's some etiquette. There's some like, yeah, okay, I'm going to let Sally Joe do it. But if it's a general auction, if it's like, hey, everybody, I'm going to auction this coffee cup, it's up for grabs. It's whoever wants it. And as a seller, I'm hoping a lot of people want it, right? When you run items at an auction, do you lower the auction price I always lower my auction price from the buy it now price. Absolutely. That's my opinion, is yes. Here's why. Come to my show, actually be present in my room, and I'm going to offer you better deals. If you want to shop from the comfort of your bed at 2 a.m., great. I'm going to make sure my stuff is in the marketplace so you can find it, but it's going to cost you a little bit more. But if I'm showing up for you and I'm selling this and I'm doing this, I'm going to lower my price for you. Let's see. On one show, a lady was eating her food and was on the table she was selling from, can hear her smacking. Yeah, I have, for me, I have sensory, like the auditory smacking, clicking of the mouth, the food. Like, my husband will tell you, he tried to eat like Doritos in bed one night. I'm like, who in the hell do you think you are? Get out of my bed. Like, ain't happening. So those things, I can't stay in those shows. I don't think necessarily eating a whole meal is appropriate on a show. Again, this is a business. Are you going to sit at a counter of a retail store and eat your lunch? I mean, maybe in some circumstances, or maybe some environments that fits in well, okay with, but in general, probably not. Yeah, chips are the worst, aren't they? Oh, and Captain Crunch, Southern Charm Captain Crunch cereal, it is banned from my house. Nobody's allowed to eat that in my home. Or chewing gum. I don't like chewing gum in general. Yeah. I'm weird though. Look, I got a lot of issues. I'm going to admit it. I have a lot of issues. My husband's over here going, yes, she does. I know you probably said this a gazillion times, but is there a difference between the bin and the marketplace? I've looked it up on the Academy and still don't get it. Sorry. Kind of yes and no. So the bin is your buy now. And I want to make a point about this. I heard JJ Shopper, I think it was JJ Shopper talking about this, and it was such a smart thing she said. So your bin is when you're in a show and you can refer people to the buy now or the bin. Your marketplace it's there all the time, 24/7. Whatnot has recently too, from my understanding, has made it more so when people are doing Google searches that items in the marketplace are actually showing up on Google searches. So it behooves you to have items in the marketplace. Marketplace is kind of your store. And then your bin is kind of you're going to tag items and say, okay, these items are going to be in the bin for the show. So they can be seen during the show. That's kind of the difference between the two. I drink coffee on my show too. I don't think you got to stay hydrated. Thoughts on local pickup if you don't have a business location? I'm all for it. I turn my local pickup on. I'll save somebody shipping if it's possible. Now, I have my local pickup address. You do not have to set it to your home address. You can set it to an address. I have mine set to the fire department down the road from me. It's a safe place to meet. It's no different. Or you can set it to a local police station. It's no different than if you're doing like a Facebook sale, right? And you meet somebody. So it saves them if they're local. If you are comfortable with it and you have a safe place to meet, it may encourage somebody. It's removing a barrier again, right? Paying for shipping is a barrier to some people. Hold on, I'm reading my husband saying true, searchable on Google. Yes. So you put your stuff in there too. And here we go. A lot of people, like, there's a big debate. Here's the what not debate. Do I have a bin? Do I not have a bin? Some people say having a bin distracts from the selling on your show. All I can do is speak from my experience. I make sales from my bin in almost every single live show that I do. Very rarely does somebody not make a sale in my bin, or does somebody not purchase something from my bin during a show. Particularly if you are doing reduced shipping, and here's the difference between reduced and free. If you are doing reduced shipping, there's some skin in the game. If they have to pay $5 for that shipping or $9.21, and then it's free after that, and you're as a seller paying the rest of it, they just have some skin in the game. Now your buyers just ponied up $5, $9, right? They want to make the most of it. I never understand somebody who pays $9 for shipping for one item. It happens. I've done it too. But in general, most people are like, look, I just paid $9 or I paid $5. I want to fill my box. I want to go shopping some more. Give them something to shop. Give them something more to buy. Does it hurt you? Is it hurting you to have more items that people may buy? Probably not. Now, where you may feel the pain, where you're sitting there saying, but Tracy, it takes time. It takes time to photograph and put in the bin. It does. And if you are a volume, fast seller, and your metrics are based on the number of items you run per hour, then a bin is probably not an answer for you. But if you're like me, thank you for your purchase from the bin. If you're like me, I'm not about volume. I mean, I would love to sell a lot of stuff, but I'm more niche. The bin makes sense for my type of business. You see Chocolate Dog has a police department. I go to the market. How do I get to the market to add items? So when you're in your seller hub and you add an item, you go into the little inventory tab and you add an item. It is in the marketplace. Then there's a little button on the right-hand side. I do it on a computer screen. It may look different on a phone. On the computer, when I'm adding an item, there's a little button on the right that it says add to a show, are available only in a show. So if you click that, then that item only becomes purchasable in a show by clicking on that, because you click the button on yes and saying, okay, this cup can only be purchased in whatever shows you designate. A little drop down will come. If you leave that off, if you don't click that only available in show, it's in your general marketplace, okay? Then exit out, save your item. So now you're just in your inventory screen and you have your list of all your items, right? You can edit them by clicking the boxes to the left and right-click Add to Show. That makes it available in the marketplace and in whatever show you add it to. So that means if you go into my bin right now, I have 123 items in there. I don't think it's everything. If you were to go into the marketplace, I probably have about 140 maybe. So if you look at my my show tonight for Dollar Holler, I only put 7 or 8 items in my bin because I want to limit the choices. It's a 10-minute show. I don't want people. It's a fast-paced show. I'm trying to keep their attention onto my auction items. So use the bin as a tool. You can use it in different ways. I need to stay awake. I just got done work. Oh my goodness, that's a long shift. So I should click only show on live and select all the shows, and then it'll still, no, if you click only show, it's only going to be available in the shows. They can still search it on the marketplace, but what happens is they buy it and that total like goes into your show. It goes into whatever show it's assigned for. So don't click only in show unless that's the only place you want somebody to buy it from. So leave it off. I prefer if you want to have it in the marketplace and in your shows, like available at all times in both, Go to your main inventory screen, click the edit buttons on the left-hand side and add to show. That's different than only. So you have add to show and only in show. They're two different ways to do it. Here we have a lot of people. I always get sales. How do you set up the 921 shipping? That is in your shipping settings. Ferns, I don't mind answering shipping questions, but I am going to refer you to go to the Hodgepodge place. She has a 2-hour shipping, or maybe an hour, I don't know, 2-hour shipping show where she goes over all of that in great detail. And then it's on YouTube. You can stop and rewind, and that'll probably be your best bet. The bin is the shop and down in the thing. This is a good point. This is what I wanted to say. And I want to give credit. I'm pretty sure JJ Shopper, she's another longtime seller on Whatnot. I'm pretty sure I was in her show when I heard this. She was talking about the language we use as sellers. And I hadn't thought about this, and she hit the nail on the head. I'm calling it the bin right now. Go check out my bin. How many of you as sellers say, hey, check out my bin. The bin is loaded. I've done it for a year and a half. I'm going to change now because I heard what JJ Shopper said. When you look on your phone, you're in my show now, probably on your phone. What does it say down there? It says shop, right? It doesn't say bin. If you have somebody new, they're going to be like, bin, what the heck is a bin? Where's the bin? Right? It says shop. And then when you click on shop, it doesn't say bin. It says buy now. It actually spells the words, thank you for your purchase. It says buy now. I never thought about this. And this is what I'm saying. You can learn something from there. You know, maybe I don't remember anything else she was talking about in her show, honestly, but I remember this. I remember that nugget of information. The language we use really matters, doesn't it? Especially for our new people. Why do sellers not put more items and buy it now if possible? Time. I think honestly, Allison, I think it's time. I think one, heck, I get it. I work full time. I have a family. I have a kid who's active in sports. It's hard. It takes time. So maybe it's just that would be my guess. My first guess would be a lot of people are probably just limited on the amount of time. And some people think it's not worth it. So I always check. If I'm in a show, I'm looking in the buy now. I'm going down there to check it out because I want to know, is there more than one item that I want to buy? Do you sell a lot of items from your marketplace? I wouldn't say a lot, but I would say probably once or twice a week I wake up to a sale from the marketplace. So maybe once or twice a week, yeah. It's not a daily thing. Okay, I think I finally got, oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Y'all, we're going to go for about another 20 minutes here. I really do want to raid into the Dollar Holler raid train that's starting today. So we're going to keep talking a bit. Thank you, Southern Charm, for putting in some, telling people. JJ Shopper, see, Reworker's Passion is JJ Shopper. Thank you so much for tagging her. Yes, super smart. I just came across her shows because I saw her in a raid train. And then I'm like, ooh, I kind of like her personality. Let me check her shows. She has a chat show. Awesome. I'm going to go watch it. I didn't realize that Ben would buy it now until a couple of months ago. After being on here, see exactly, that lingo matters. Yeah. Just catching up. I shuffle my inventory out of inactive. Absolutely, yeah. So when after you have a show, everything that you sold or didn't sell from that show moves its way over into an active from everything from your auction tab. So making sure that you go into your inactive and you can move it back in. True, just has 400 items. Oh, I just missed it. JJ Shopper, are you here? Yes, I was talking about you. I was talking about how I don't know if you were here and heard me. I'm pretty sure I heard it in your show. You were talking about the language that we use as sellers. I don't remember everything else in the show. I'm going to be honest, but that nugget stuck with me. That it is not called the bin. And so I was repeating that conversation that you had, and I was giving you all the credit because I never thought, I talk a lot about the environment we create, removing barriers. This is a barrier I never even realized existed to my buyers, is maybe our new people, they just don't know what we're talking about. And this, you know what, that's no different than any other industry. You get into something, you're absorbed, you're a seller, this is your, if it's not your 9 to 5, then you're probably kind of absorbed in your off hours from your day job. And the lingo's in our head all the time. We're thinking about it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm laying in bed at night and I'm like, ideas churning. We tend to then create acronyms and a way of speech that the newcomers just don't know. It takes a while to get that. So then if we can make it easier for them in any way, it's going to help with your sales. How do you feel about buying on Whatnot and then reselling those items in your show? Southern Charm, thank you so much, because I was going to talk about that and you remembered. I love when people resell the items they buy from me. You know why? I find it's a compliment to me, because if you thought enough about that item, one, you bought it. I made money off of it because I should be selling it at a price that I'm comfortable with to start with. So I made my money. And then you thought enough about that item to then want to show it and share it with your customers. I did a good job. That's how I look at it. I am totally all for, if you can get a good deal from me and then sell it. Everybody has different customer bases, right? Now, granted, we're on Whatnot. Some of us may be in the same shows, but Southern Charm may have a whole group of people who never come to my show. They're never going to see it from me.
There was this one time where she sold a beautiful bowl and then she bought it again.
Yeah, so my famous story about reselling and rebuying the same. I sold a bowl. I loved it. It was to somebody and they were a buyer. And then a while back, they came back and they're like, hey, Tracy, I'm going to become a seller. Will you come to my first show? And I'm like, absolutely, I'll come to your first show. And yeah, and so then I'm in her first show and I'm watching it and she has this bowl she bought from me for sale. And I was so excited. I'm like, look, she's selling the bowl. I was sitting in my truck with my daughter and I saw it on my phone and I got super excited. I'm like, look, this is the bowl. And I'm like, look, this is the bowl. And I bought it. The accident, just clicked on it and bought it. So then I bought the bowl back and then I resold it. So I don't know how much I probably paid in, way too much money, probably lost a lot of money on that, the whole thing. But anyways, I think, you know what, if you are a reseller and somebody buys your stuff and resells it, don't get mad. If you have the attitude, well, how come they made, maybe you sold it for 10, how come they can make 20 and I sold it for 10? They should have paid more for me. No, you should have priced it higher. End of the day, you want 20, you should have priced it higher. What if the Hodgepodge place, let's just use her as an example because she gets a lot of people in her room. River Run Trading Post. Yeah, see, happens all the time. What if Hodge buys something from me for $5? Okay, I have an average of 30 to 40 people in my shows. And then she has 300 people. You have 40 people, the percent of people who want that item are compared to the number. So if I have 1% of the people who want the item out of 40 or 1% out of 300, obviously the 1% out of 300 in her room is greater. There's more people who are going to want that item, more competition for that item. So she can turn around and sell it. I saw this so much at the beginning, and this is really where I started thinking about this, is at the beginning is like, I don't have that audience. I remember, where was it? I had an item. Oh, I wasn't on Whatnot, but I had an item that it was worth a ton of money. It was worth, I don't know, $800 or $900. And I sold it for $300. You know why? It was a rare item. There weren't very many buyers. I could have sat on that item for a year and still not have sold it, or I could have made $300. I chose to make the $300. It's the same thing on Whatnot. Happens all the time. As long as I make on it what I want to make, I don't care what they make. That's it right there. It's not even about the fact that people are reselling it. Go back to the basic. Price your items in a way that you want to make money for. And if sourcing on here, you have to take shipping charges. Exactly. You do have to take shipping charges into consideration. So that ups that price of the item. So therefore, for them to sell it, they have to up the price. But we have different customer bases. I can't sell to the same people. Upcycle by Bree could put a paper clip. Upcycle by Bree could take a paper clip and bend it, and she can sell that thing probably for $20. I could take a paper clip and people are going to laugh at me. We have different customer bases. Our stores are different. Our presence is different. Our environment in which we create is different. We've made a hand-painted signs for years. We see them for sale all over town. There you go. Paper clip on a twig. There you go. What is my husband saying, Stephanie? Oh, in the purse show, they often even say, oh, I bought this from so-and-so. Yeah, exactly. I sell stuff from people all the time. So, I mean, same thing. If I'm buying it from you, I may keep it and enjoy it for a while, and then I may sell it. But Southern Charm, you sold me that glass swan, and your note was so funny. She put a note in there. She's like, something about enjoy. I hope you enjoy reselling it, or something like that. It was so funny. I'm actually, it's sitting on my coffee table. That's actually my personal collection. I laughed so hard when I saw that note. Also, there have been times that I purchased something and it didn't end up working with my decor. Exactly. It just doesn't go in, or you change your mind. I do it all the time. And sometimes, honestly, look, sometimes I buy stuff, and I'm not recommending that people do this. I buy stuff just because I want to support somebody. I may not want it. I may honestly care less about the item. I'm doing it because I want to support somebody. Um, so those might end up being resold because it's not something I'm going to use in my decor. I'm doing it because I care about you in some sense. Um, I watch Upcycle, and I'm always amazed at what she sells. She has the gift of selling the unsell. She does a reworker's passion. Upcycle by Bree is a seller that I am just fascinated with. Y'all, I highly recommend, especially if you're new, or if you're a seasoned seller, it doesn't matter. Watch other sellers, especially ones that meet your definition of success. See what they're doing. I am fascinated, absolutely fascinated by Upcycle by Bree. Do I buy from her a lot? No. I don't know if I've ever bought from her. Am I in all of her shows? No, but I do catch bits and pieces every now and then. And what fascinates me is how is she selling? She doesn't use a lot of gimmicks. She doesn't have, we do graphics. She doesn't have graphics. It's, what is she doing? I felt the same way about the Hodgepodge Place and Lancaster Exchange. Those three are my fascination, like my little whatnot obsession that I watch. And you know what I finally came to? It is their presence. It is who they are. A lot of times it doesn't come down to the items. What are they again? My three I want to say obsessions. They're not obsessions. They're my fascinations in learning about whatnot selling techniques. Is Upcycled by Bree. And if there's anybody in the chat that can tag these people, I would appreciate it. That would be helpful. Upcycled by Bree, the Hodgepodge Place, and Lancaster Exchange. All three of them sell in my category. They're vintage decor sellers. Now, I have a ton of other sellers that I like in other categories and in vintage, but these three are the ones that I am fascinated with and that I would watch over and over and over. And I'm like, what? They have a lot of people in the room. Everything gets bid up. They pretty much do sold out shows, every single show. Why? Why is that? Because to me, it's about what environment are they creating? How are they selling? What are they doing? And it's not for copying purpose. It's to understand what works on what not, because these people are killing it. And what I found out was at least what oh yeah, Alicia is her voice is so sweet, isn't she? She just makes you want to have a cup of tea and just hang out with her. Like, I want to go have coffee with her. I just want to go sit in her living room. And this is what it is. It's their presence. And this is what I came back to when I'm telling you guys, this box is all people get. This is all your buyers get. What are you creating for them? What is the environment and the feel? And all three of those are very different personalities, very different feels. But buying is an emotional experience. Unless you're buying toothpaste because, we all need to brush our teeth. Let's look at, maybe in health and beauty you buy because there's some logical need for the items. Maybe clothing, but even clothing is a lot of, I like it, I want it. Buying is a feeling driven, right? We need to create the feelings in our buyers. So, and that's why these three women fascinate me, is they each evoke different feelings in their buyers, and they're highly successful with it. So I just checking them out. Like I said, even as successful sellers, to go and watch people. Let me give you an example really quick. When I talk about this box is all you get, let's relate that to real life again. Sorry, my hair keeps hitting my mic and making noise for you guys. Let's talk about real life. All of you probably have a Dollar General, right? There seems to be one on every corner in every little town. When you go into Dollar General, what is the feeling you get? Do you feel the items that you want to pay a lot for those items? Forget even the name Dollar General. That goes back to naming, but let's forget that. Let's just, for me, the Dollar Generals around my area, discount. The floors are sticky. There's usually a lot of boxes laying around. There's usually like, maybe they're stocking, maybe they're not stocking. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Feeling, right? You went to Dollar General yesterday. But it's not this, I'm going to pay a lot of money. It's disheveled, discount. Yeah, that's the feeling you get when you go into Dollar General, right? What about when you walk into Macy's? That's not inviting. Okay, but Macy's. Or even let's just kind of keep stores similar. Let's say Target. When you walk into Target. Granted, some Targets in some areas of town, forget it. But in general, Target is organized. You can't complain for too long. Yeah, you can't. I agree. But I'm still talking about the feelings. Target's cleaner, well lit. You have very distinct sections for things. You usually don't have a lot of people stocking in the middle of the day, right? There you go. I would wear my PJs and be comfy, but Target, I better put on real clothes. Okay, these are the feelings you get going into a store. So if you go into a show that has a hoarder's mess behind you and they're in their bathrobe with no bra, girl, cover them things up. I don't want to see them. And I'm not paying a lot for your prices. Automatically, the feeling it gives me devalues your product, right? This is discount. This is not organized. This is whatever. Or if you show up to your show, you're dressed. You don't have to be fancy. Just put the bra on. Put a shirt and a bra. You're good. I don't care if you have pants if you're sitting down. Like, look, you can't see. As long as I can't see it, I don't care. But look nice. Clean up the area behind you. It doesn't have to be perfect. Clean. Present the atmosphere you want your buyers to feel. It's no different than when you go into these other stores. It's the feeling. So let me run one more giveaway here because I was supposed to run all 10 of these and I just start talking and I forget. So let's do a gift card. Let me run a $5 Starbucks gift card here. All right, it's in here somewhere. Where is it? There we go. $5 start. Look, I already got the envelopes ready. I'm ready to ship. $5 Starbucks gift card. That is up and running. So unless I'm standing up, I'm wearing yoga pants, sweatpants, or pajamas. Absolutely. You know what? I'll do it right now. I'll show you what I'm wearing. So from the top up, look at nice black shirt. It's not fancy. It's t-shirt. It's just a long sleeve t-shirt. Bottom is sweatpants. I'm not really standing up a whole lot though. Probably on my shows where I'm selling and you're seeing me, I'm probably wearing black pants of some sort. Do you set up buyers giveies the same as a follower? Yes, you do. You just click the buyers button when you're setting up your givey. So yes, you do set them up exactly the same way. There's just an option in there. So there's 3 options when you set up a givey. You can do open to everybody, followers only, or to buyers. So, and it's your choice. My personal preference, I have never done a buyer's giveaway in my life. I just don't. Some other thing came up that had me questioning. Lintro, what are you questioning? Tell us. I have never done a buyer's giveaway. I'd rather try to offer free shipping or reduced shipping or discounted prices, something like that. That's my preference. But there's nothing wrong with a buyer's giveaway either. I mean, if you want to reward your buyers, I think that's a great thing to do. You have to do it at the beginning. Yes, good point. Because I don't set them up. I wouldn't have thought about that. Absolutely true. You have to set it up before they buy because only people that buy after that buyer's giveaway is set up are eligible to get in. Now, technically, anybody can go into a buyer's giveaway, but if you didn't buy, you have to fill out a form. Those are those form fillers that you hear about. But if you're setting it up, yes, do it at the very beginning of your show. Or like even before, like go into your show before you even start your show and you can set up your giveaways before. Buyers gives, you keep me in the show, honestly, then I usually end up buying more. Hey, that's a great thing. Let's talk about tools real quick. Is there a way to unfollow sellers I'm not interested in? Yes, there is. If you go to on your phone where you can get to and you see everybody that you're following, you can just click. There's a little button over on the left-hand side or the right-hand side where it says follow. If you click that again, it'll unfollow. So the same way you follow them, you can unfollow them. Let's just talk about really quick some of the tools. And we're going to go raid. We're going to raid in just a few minutes. So if you guys have any last questions, throw them in the chat. But after this giveaway, we're probably going to raid. I do want to talk about this environment you create. We're here to sell, right? And it can't be deleted or edited once set up. And it can't be deleted or edited. I don't know on a buyer's giveaway, since I have never set one up, if you can edit it. I can, oh, that one's running. Hold on, let's see. I can edit a regular giveaway. I don't know about a buyer's giveaway. If anybody else knows, that's true, can't edit. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for helping. So we're talking about this environment. Whatnot offers you a whole big old bucket full of tools that you can mix and match and use in creative ways to encourage sales. Last night I just started writing down anything I could think of off the top of my head. Here's all the ones I came up with in like 30 seconds. Rewards, flash sales, your bin, your buy now, utilizing your filters in the show, helping people find things, auction items, whether your auction timing, sudden death, looking at your live analytics helps you as a seller in the show notes and coupons. There's more, but that is just a quick flash sales. Those are just quick items that I came up with while you're having your sales, while you're doing your auctions, of things you can utilize in various ways to help you make more sales. So we'll talk about all of those more in depth and how to combine them and use them. So next week, our next Friday show is I'm going to try to focus it more on tax and accounting. We'll probably dive off into other topics, but I did have a lot of requests to do a mid-year tax show. So we're going to do that next week. So come prepared, any questions you have. But I also kind of want to talk about tools and mixing and matching and how to use them and just some unique ways to use them. I've played around with a lot of them and been experimenting. I'm going to try something new on my show tomorrow. So those of you who come to my show, you'll see kind of a new thing that I'm trying. And again, don't be afraid to try new things. Yes, Stephanie, every Friday morning at 7 a.m. And who won the $5 Starbucks card? Unicorner. You're going to have a cup of coffee. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Y'all, okay. It is 8:52. I want to go raid into Dollar Holla Raid Train. It is on all day today. If you can't watch all of it, try to at least catch some of it. But real quick, I want to give a few really fast shout outs. Today's shows. Besides Dollar Holler all day, Green 13 is doing Storage Finds at 1. Awesome one. Southern Charm has Butter Pats. Y'all, coveted Butter Pats. 1 p.m. Southern Charm. Natural State of Hive for the Win Friday. She starts at around 9:30 this morning. Also another good talk show right there for the Win Friday. Tenacity Ridge is doing painted window clings at 10:30. Dollar Holler, I've already said it a few times all day. I'm on at 6 o'clock. Dollar Holler, come see me. And Daisy Lane does her playing card show every Friday night. So I've just given you a whole day lineup. There you go. Reworkers Passion, 9:30 p.m. A dollar soap starts. We're stocking up. Y'all, Dollar Holler. We're going to go raid into the opening part of that raid train right now. Thank you for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I hope I see you in my show soon.